Nillus Bollicus Potter! G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet. I'm going for a victory walk, smashing the West Ham wheelie bins 3-0. I'm here at the Harold Reed foreshore track today. 5 kilometres, it's easy enough, isn't it? The first 10 minutes, of course, were a bit shaky. It was a bit of a scrappy start by both teams. I thought that West Ham were definitely the physical of the two, and I was worried that we were going to have yet another 1-1 draw, and I was quite accepting of that, really, because, you know, with so many new players, new manager, you're going to have a little bump in the road sometime. But, you know, West Ham had about one chance that was any good. It sort of scuffed wide. After that initial 10-15 minute spell, I think the thing that changed the game for us, and I think Romero was a bloody good captain last night, was instead of us being impetuous, trying to go for everything, because it wasn't quite coming off. West Ham were just turning the screws a little bit. Romero slowed it down very nicely, just calmly, just for a couple of minutes. That's all. It wasn't long. It wasn't like boring football, but it looked to me as if it gave us time to reset. Beautiful stream here. Ooh, or a creek, or something. Just gave us a little time to reset and get our mojo back. And then from there on in until the end of the game, oh my, we dominated the arse off them. By the end of the first half, well, let's talk about the disallowed goal. For me, seeing all the angles, I think it was a clear goal. I don't think there was any real infringement there. The goalkeeper, Glenn Hoddle said this as well, the goalkeeper pushed Van der Ven, and Van der Ven pushed the other guy. It was all a bit of argy-bargy. Handbags at 2 paces, you know. I don't think there was anything in it at all. But in a way, I'm glad the VAR didn't overturn it, even though it was the wrong decision, because it felt a bit more like oldie-worldy football to me. I have an idea for a great VAR innovation, actually, because football's played at real time. I like the referee's decision to be final. So I think VAR should only have one camera angle played at real time, and that camera is like probably maybe even a surgically implanted device on the referee's forehead using some sort of AI eye tracking shit. That was Jacob for United Stars of America giving me a call, buggering up my video, you sod. Yeah, a surgically implanted camera there, so we know exactly what the referee sees. And if VAR determines that shows the referee made a mistake, then okay, overrule that. But all these bloody camera angles and shit, referee, you know, I mean, on first sight, it looks like the referee made a crap decision, but we don't know exactly what he saw from his angle. And maybe from his angle, he looked like, you know, Van der Ven's push open the way for the goal. I mean, Romero didn't do a thing wrong there. Romero was also pretty vocal with his players, and I like the way he kept our players away from the referee as well, because it's the captain's job to talk to the referee, no one else. So that was the disallowed goal. We did have a shout for a penalty. I think that was in the second half. And that, I mean, I think it's hard to say, but whether it's a penalty or not, it's just shit football. Shit football by West Ham. You know, you're not even looking at the ball. I thought there was a bloody rule called obstruction in football. Apparently not. Apparently you can just grab hold of players and stop them from getting anywhere near the ball now. That seems to be the new world of football. I think it's bloody stupid. I don't know why all the players aren't watching where the ball is anyway. It's called football, not Van der Ven ball. But however, by the end of the first half, we were firmly in command of the game. And when we started taking control of that game, that physicality of West Ham, I had a little sneaking suspicion that they might lose their shit a little bit. And I thought there could be a red card in the offing. Now, the red card did eventually come to West Ham for a player that I didn't pick. I've forgotten the names of the bloody players. But I wasn't picking the guy. Sucuk was his name? No, that's Turkish sausage. Oh, wait, shit. It's a bit slippery and wet down here. I didn't pick him to be the culprit. Reckless challenge on Paulinho. Studs up. And a worthy red card. I don't think anyone can really complain about that. I suppose West Ham fans can. And, you know, from then on in, we were in control of the game anyway. And we frustrated West Ham. It was, you know, some people might say, you know, it's easy to beat a team with 10 men, but we forced that situation. We led that to happen by just dominating the ball. It was really good to see. Really good to see. So by the end of the first half, we had, I think we had more corners than a heptagon. And in the second half, we continued getting corners. So many corners, the shape just turned into a circle. As soon as the ball is round, we are masters of the ball. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. And then, of course, just after the half-time break, you know, we held out. We didn't concede, defended really, really well. You know, I think Paulinho, he's a solid unit in midfield. We all know our defenders are great, but Paulinho is like an extra defender sort of slash attacker in midfield. Anyone vaguely near him, he was getting the ball off him. He did a great job. Then the goals started coming, of course. Pat Matassar, a header from Xavi, right on the money, beautiful. And then Romero again, man. God, Romero played an absolute bloody blinder last night, actually, didn't he? What an absolute peach of a ball to pick out Lucas Berrival. And Berrival did a tremendous job to get that ball on his noggin, looping it over the goalkeeper. 2-0. Fantastic. And then the third goal, I might have used the other way around because I didn't get too much sleep last night. I'm a bit bleeding knackered. Then the third goal, a bit of a kerfuffle. And there's Van der Ven taking control, banging it in. Wonderful stuff. So the game finished 3-0. Now, of course, where are we going? I've no bloody idea, have I? You know what? I quite like it up here. It's nice and shady. Game firmly in control, put to bed, but we didn't let up. We didn't park the bus or anything like that. We kept on going. You know, by the end of the game, it looked like, I mean, there was one passage of play where we were just threading it in and out of West Ham. They were static, totally demotivated, totally out of the game. They were like wheelie bins. We were just knocking it all over the place. And, you know, so Thomas Frank started making his substitutions, you know, possibly with a view to saving people's legs. So that, you know, because we've got a Champions League game against Villarreal in the not too distant future for a couple of days. And we got that luxury, and it was so nice to see subs coming off the bench of quality. that could see the game out for us. It was fantastic. Fantastic. God, it's a bit bloody up and down, this is. This is not real time, I am cutting bits out. Oh, this looks nice up here. Might sit up here. I mean, all in all, I think that was a fantastic performance by Spurs. And you know, Thomas Frank is certainly weaving some magic. So I guess, you know, starting from the back, as I catch my breath, Vicario had a great game. Just after we scored our first goal, West Ham had an attack, but Vicario had not gone to sleep. Nice save, he did a save later on in the game. Nice long throws, nice distribution. I don't think he really put a foot wrong. There's a bit of confusion between him and Van der Ven at one point. Maybe Vicario didn't shout for it, maybe he did, I couldn't tell. Now the defence, I mean, Jed Spence, that spot has got to be his now, hasn't it? I mean, he's getting better and better and better. In that first period of the game, I could see, it felt like the team was slightly out of whack on the left-hand side for me. Xavi Simon wasn't quite either getting the service or getting in the right places to be served. I don't know which it was. He did warm up later on in the game. But while he was a bit, not invisible, that's too harsh. While he was finding his feet, Jed Spence stepped up. I mean, is that guy a winger? Is he a fullback? What is he? Whatever he is, he's bloody good. There's this moment where big long ball came in, and it's just so graceful the way he just controlled the ball and used the sort of momentum to move forward with it. It was an amazing thing to see. It might be better if I just sit down for a bit, eh? So Jed Spence, man, I'm so impressed with what he's done, and all these question marks over his attitude. I mean, what a load of crap that all was. He got his head down. What a player! What a player! We're very lucky to have him. There's one bit where he was up in their box. He's got eyes in the side of his head, or his feet are quicker than his eyes. His optic cortex, I don't know what it is. But Bergvall sort of came running on the overlap, and Spence saw him somehow, and perfect ball to him. You know, led to a really good chance for us. So Spence, then you had Van der Ven scored a goal. Great defending as usual, running back and covering. A real pest in their penalty area during the circle number of corners we had. Brilliant, Romero. You know, maybe it's his position on the field, but I think he's a good captain, man. You know, I like defenders to be midfield at most up the pitch. You know, Son, I don't think it's a good position for a captain to be, because you can't see what's going on. You know, if you're looking forward, Romero perfectly placed and faultless, absolutely faultless performance. I think he was geeing up the team. He was monitoring the referee, I'll put it that way. And his service to Bergvall for the goal was amazing. So, brilliant. Pedro Porro, a bit quieter, but he wasn't really called on as much. But he did do some good balls forward. You know, a solid performance by Pedro. Midfield, Bergvall, he was one of the players I thought was getting a bit muscled in that first little passage of play. But then he came good, and he's got some skills, isn't he? He's got some skills. You'd hate to play against him. Papa Matsar scored a goal. Again, annoying, full of energy. Paulinho, You know, I'm really impressed with this guy's attitude. He's always throwing his body on the line. Took a pretty nasty tackle with his studs on his shin, which led to West Ham's red card. And then up front, Kudus, man, he wasn't bothered by the crowd. I mean, the crowd's so far away at that shit stadium that he ain't going to hear him, is he? But unperturbed, absolutely unperturbed. Didn't score, but not for want of trying. And it wasn't shit tries. You know, there was a stat that came out, something like West Ham had 17 shots. I don't know what they call like a shot on target. I mean, half their shots, well, I think all of their shots, apart from one decent one they had missed. They had two that Vicario saved, so I call it like 2 on target, and one went wide. I don't think any of their shots would have reached the goal if there was no defender or goalkeeper. The ball would have just died out of shame for being so shitly kicked. So I don't know how they get those stats from. The only stats I really look in football, goals, corners, because corners tells the story. And when we're racking up those corners, you just see something had to give. I think West Ham have a set piece problem, don't you? We got all that shit last year. So Kudus, he's there, isn't he? Xavi worked his way into the game, and maybe not quite there yet, but I did like the way he started, you know, working his way towards the middle in a good way. It sort of reminded me a little bit of Andrei Konselskis. You know, that sort of run across, shoot. He was doing that quite well. And then Tell up front. Well, I'll tell you what, our medical team's got their act together, because they've injected our players now with self-healing nanites. Tell broke his leg in the first half. I thought he wasn't going to make it. He did so well. He didn't give up. He kept on going, and he shook it off. It was, although it wasn't ultimately super productive, just the grit and the determination, especially after being dropped out of the Champions League. I think he showed a lot of character. A lot of character, did Tell. Substitutes, well, you know, we brought on Odegaard, Richarlison, Johnson, Danso. These are all good players. These are all good players. You can trust them to keep the job going. And I think Frank has got a squad that's capable of being rotated. We don't have to rely on the same 11 players all the time. You know, I think Jed Spencer's got Destiny's spot for the time being, but Destiny, hey, he ain't no slouch either, man. So anyway, that was a round out of the game. I thought it was a very impressive and well-deserved win by Spurs. It was great. And so, if you like stats, here's some stats for you. So, the Dreamometer, the 2025-26 season Dreamometer. Oh, so, in case you're new to the party, the Dreamometer, what I do is I take, so for instance, this week we played away at West Ham. We won, we got 3 points. Last year in that fixture we drew, we got 1 point. So the Dreamometer goes up by 2 points. Now the Dreamometer currently was on +2. It was, we beat Burnley, lost against Bournemouth, that gave us +2 in the end. We're +4 now. So that puts us all the way up on the table to 42 points at the moment. That's 16th place, not half, all right? So, but that's going to keep going up. That's going to keep going up. Now, if you take the number of points divided by the number of games, which is 4, and you multiply it by 38, this is what I call the pro rata, that comes to a magnificent 86 points. If that was last year, you know what that means? Number 1. League bloody champions, man. League bloody champions, no doubt about it. The quad is on. And another stat that I'm going to throw at you is, okay, the Dreamometer, we've gained 4 points on our against our performance last year. That's 1 point per game. If you extrapolate that, you get 38 points. Add it to the 38. Fuck, we only got 38 points last year. Add it to that massive swag of 38 points last year, you get 76. Where does that leave us in last year's league table? Number 2, beating Arsenal. So early signs, man, are good. If Thomas Frank can keep this going, man, keep our players consistent. They didn't look like flagging. You know, the number of times I saw last season where we'd start off a bit, you know, shaky or rattled, mainly like take last year's West Ham or the year before's West Ham game, and we couldn't quite overcome it. Now, I don't know quite what happened on the pitch. I'll put it down to Romero, man, just steadying, just calming everything, hitting the reset button. It was like a new game started after that. We were fantastic, man, fantastic. So I think this puts us at well, it's joint top at the moment as I'm doing this video. Liverpool are yet to play. Chelsea fucked it. Ha! Back to Division 2, fuckers. So they fucked it. So we're above them. Arsenal sadly beat Ange Postecoglou. God, he's naive, isn't he? He's naive. You know, I watched the press conference with Ange. He didn't look, I don't know, he looked a bit flat. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sure he'll bring Forest success, but only in the Europa League, because we're going to win everything else. But sadly, he lost to Arsenal 3-0, so they remain top by a goal difference of 1 above us. We're looking good, man. I'm very excited about this. We look mean, we look disciplined, we look precise, and it's like we've got structure, but within that structure we can also manifest some flares, like especially from Jed Spence was what I saw last night, but also Kudus, Bergvall, you know, great players. We got when Xavi got going, I thought it was a great balance in the team. Bit of this, bit of that, bit of not too fancy flicks, but a bit of champagne football, but a bit of a rock solid. You ain't getting past us, or you're going to go to the hospital. Within the rules of the game, of course. I thought it was really good, really good. So we're on the up, folks. Until next time, I'm going to climb down from this mountain. Peace and love, man. Oh, no, peace and love, man. Peace and love. And go on, you Spurs. Let's see if I can do this without falling.